All right. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? This is Twin Flames Unite, and we are at it again. And if you don't know by now, I'm Chris.
And I'm Leisha. What up?
What's going on, everybody? We are here to bring you practical solutions that you can apply easily, naturally, and automatically
In your everyday life, so you can tap into your unlimited potential and rise to the highest version of yourself.
All right. What's going on, D? What's up? What's up? What's up? Right now, we are officially streaming from YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitch. Just really trying to spread the net out, try to get the information out as much as possible. So we are here, and tonight we are going to be touching on a pretty interesting topic tonight.
Yes, and it's well needed.
Mm-hmm.
Trust and believe this topic is well needed for the times that we are currently in right now. Because right now we are kind of like at a pivot point, right? So we just think that you guys can use this information to let you know how to get through these testing times, right? And just to let you know that you're not crazy.
Right.
It is completely natural to hit a point in your life where you feel like everything doesn't make sense, right? So we just here to shed some light on why you might be feeling like things are not making sense right now.
Right. Because if you're not aware of it, you are on your hero's journey. And in a moment, we're going to go through and give you a little bit of recap. If you don't know about what the hero's journey is, we'll give you a little recap so that you won't be lost in what we're talking about. But we're all going through our hero's journey. But a lot of us are going through one of the lowest points in the hero's journey.
Oh, yes. And then, that's what we want to focus on, because we already did I think we did a video a few months ago about the hero's journey, or was it the 12 archetypes?
No, we did it on the hero.
On the hero's journey.
On the hero's journey, yes. And then, yeah. So we've already done the hero's journey and just given some basic information on that. But today we're going to be diving into a specific point on the hero's journey, which is one of the lowest points on the hero's journey, to really help people out, because there are some things that are going on in this lowest point that if we're not aware of it, we can miss out on some of the benefits that, benefits.
Yeah.
Yes, there are some benefits in the lowest point. And if we're not in the right frame of mind, or at least we don't have the necessary tools to go back through and assess what happened, then we can miss out on those benefits.
Exactly. And so we're gonna let you know that it's a-okay to be feeling how you're feeling. We're gonna give you some tools to actually come out on the other side.
Yes.
When you're ready, okay, you'll have the tools to be able to come out on the other side.
Yep. All right. So, without further ado,
let's dive in.
I was about to say, I don't know if you want to go over that card first, but
oh yeah, we'll do the card. I pulled the card for the collective, but we'll save the card for after we get into this presentation. I really think that this presentation is going to be really beneficial for some people. So if you want to go ahead and share the video with someone that you think might be able to use these steps, maybe they might be going through a hard time. These are some really practical tips, some enlightenment to put towards your journey, pretty much. So yeah, go ahead and feel free to share the video.
Yep. All right. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into it. And as we go through this presentation, definitely feel free to drop your comments in the chat. And if time permits, then we'll go through and we'll jump through those as they come through.
Yeah.
But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the slide.
Absolutely.
So today we are talking about the hero's journey. Okay. So just like this knight is fighting this dragon, there are some shadow aspects of yourself that you're going to be battling with. And we're going to give you the sword, the shield, the helmet, all of the armor that you need in order to really successfily go through this hero's journey.
Exactly. And sometimes a dragon could be a twin flame. Right?
It could be.
It could just be. Nevertheless, we're going to give you some tools.
All right. So just to cover, just to give you a quick overview of what we're going to be looking at today. Okay, so just a quick overview. Overview. Okay, let's go. We're going to recap the hero's journey real quickly, and then we're going to uncover the major blockage that is in the ordeal stage of the hero's journey. And then we're going to talk about why the stage is so hard, and then how you can retrieve the fragments of yourself to become whole again.
And this is really important, especially that we're in the middle of an ascension, right? So we're going to really give some information to help you to heal in a practical way.
Yes, 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 yes. All right. So just real quickly, if you all are not aware of this hero's journey, we're just going to give you a quick breakdown of the hero's journey. Okay. So when we're talking about the hero's journey, hold on, let me just back out of this for a second, because what's going on in the hero's journey is that you've seen this in movies a lot. Okay. What's up, Jen? Good to see you,
Jen.
Okay. What's going on in the hero's journey? Once again, this is something you've seen in all of the movies, and it's something that you're playing out in your own life. And so just to give you just a kind of broad overview real quickly, if you've seen Harry Potter, you've seen the hero's journey. If you've seen Star Wars, that is the hero's journey. Okay. And a lot of our life is mirrored after these movies. And so this is just to kind of give you an idea, a roadmap, or something to go along with, because when we came in this world, nobody gave us a manual or anything. Right. So this is a little bit of a roadmap to really help you out on your journey. Right.
And the reason why sometimes we gravitate towards these movies, Spider-Man, you know, what's the other one? Wonder Woman 1984, you know, and all these other kind of movies that we like so much is because we actually get to see all of these steps portrayed out or carry out or played out in the movie in our life. The reason why sometimes they can get so frustrated and sometimes we feel like we just want to get beamed up is because somewhere along this journey we get stuck, right? And we can't see our knight in shining armor. We don't get to the part where we feel like we are really the hero. You know, we just keep fighting with what's the Darth Vader? Yeah, we just protagonist. We just stuck fighting a certain somebody, right? And we not being able to defeat that certain somebody, right? That's metaphorically speaking. It could be a situation, circumstance, but you're still battling. And you're just in that battle, and you can't get around to, you know, the number 9, which is your reward. You know, you can't get back on the road, and you can't get to your resurrection. You can't, because you're just stuck. Yeah. And some of us never even accept the calls. We're gonna go through this hero's journey, so you can see that in your own life.
So let's jump into it. Okay. So. That's my mouse. Yes, my mouse shows up. Awesome. What's up, Wendy? Good to see you. So with the hero's journey, I'm going to try to, if my memory helps me, I should have probably gotten this together before, but we're probably going to go through Star Wars on this, just to give you an idea of where the hero's journey is going.
Or you can use the Alchemist. That's a perfect one.
Yes, it is. All right, so we'll go with the Alchemist. I know that one better. What's up, Victory of Love? Okay, so in the Alchemist, for example, he is a normal sheep herder that is living with his parents and just doing his normal sheep herding things. But and that's in stage 1. And then he gets this call to adventure. He gets the idea of going out and finding what he really wants in life. Okay. And then at some point you get what's called the refusal of the call. And so when he pretty much talked with his father about what he wanted to do, his father talking about, you're not going to be that successful in going out and doing that. You know, you'll be better off being a sheep herder here. You've already collected a lot of money. Just stay here and just build your life here. And so at some point you can actually refuse the call and just stop the journey altogether. Right. But in the Alchemist, he decided to go further and see what he could really accomplish. And so he moved on to the next point, which is where he met his mentor. Okay. which pretty much gave him the information on what he needed to do in order to go over to Egypt in order to get the information that he was searching for. And so he met with his mentor and he crossed that threshold. He left home, and I can't remember if he got on a train or whatever he did.
He bailed.
He left home. He left his ordinary world to go into a special world. Okay. And then as soon as you go into that special world, you get met with tests, allies, and different enemies.
That's when the trials and the tribulations start.
Now, this first test that came up is that he was actually swindled by one of the guys that took that tricked him. Okay, that tricked him, and then he pretty much ended up left in the town where he met some other allies, which was the store owner, which actually helped him in going through his journey. Okay, but what happened was that, as you see, you go through this stage, you go up into the point 7, which is where you approach the innermost cave. Now, this is where things start to get a little bit tricky, and you feel like you're stuck and you're trying to fight your own inner demons. Now, when you get to this lower point, which is one that we're going to get into, this is where you have a lot of opportunities where you second guess yourself, and you start to think about, okay, why am I second guessing myself? And then once you find out that root issue, then you can move on and go towards your reward. Now, that's not the end of your journey. That may be the hardest part, but you still got some other things to battle.
That's right.
Because after he went through and left the town, he went on another journey with another alchemist that was helping his army move across Egypt so that he could find wow, I'm forgetting what he was looking for. It was treasure. Yeah, it was some treasure that he was looking for. Something very
specific.
Right. And so he went there, and then he made a roadblock, because what happened was, in the middle of the desert, they were attacked by a whole nother tribe, and they were trying to kill him. But he managed to get out of that ordeal. He was able to be resurrected. And then he found out that what he was looking for wasn't actually there. It was actually what he came back from. So he started his return back to his home, which actually was back to his ordinary life.
Right.
So you can see through the hero's journey that it's just a whole series of events that lead us to our end goal.
And then the beautiful thing in stage 12 is when you return back home now, you're returning after your metamorphosis, because all of this 2, 3, 4, 5, all of these stages up until the resurrection, that's your metamorphosis. That's your cocoon phase, and you transitioning into your butterfly. So before you left home in the first stage, you didn't have any wings. You were kind of crawling, picking at everything like a caterpillar.
Right.
But now at stage 11, after your resurrection, you have your wings. You've learned so much, and it's so much now. Your life feels so much more meaningful, because now you feel like you have some sort of substance, some type of bandwidth, you know? And so this is life in general. But the thing that we're noticing is people get stuck at certain stages and they want to give up. And so we're here to let you to know not to give up, because this is a part of life. And if you don't realize that there are stages beyond the ordeal, then you can feel like, what's the purpose of this life? So everybody has to know that there are stages beyond the ordeal. The ordeal is just a part of the journey. It's not the end of the journey. Right? Yeah. It's actually one of the best places.
Yeah. And even when you look at the hero's journey, you may see it as one lifetime, but the hero's journey can happen multiple times throughout your entire existence.
Exactly. You can have many cocoon phases because we're constantly growing, we're constantly evolving. And in each time you collect something grows inside of you, something expands inside of you that makes you capable, you know. But every version of ourselves, you know, the next goal that we set out, and the next thing that we want to achieve, it's going to take a different version of ourselves to get to that particular thing. So you go through another journey again. Right? So don't get frustrated.
No, don't get frustrated. And while you're not getting frustrated, also remember, if you're new to this channel, definitely subscribe, give us that thumbs up. If you haven't given a thumbs up already, please do so. so that YouTube would know that you like the information that we share and you want more of it. All right?
Right.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and let's continue the class. Are y'all ready to continue the class?
Come on, let's do this. We're going to give y'all some inspiration today. Let's go.
All right. So now this next one that we're going to go into, we're going to look a little bit deeper into the bottom stage, which is one of the most difficult parts of the hero's journey.
And this is the part where a lot of people get stuck. That's the reason why we want to focus on this one so much.
All right. You got this one, sweetheart?
Yes. So stage number 7, the great ordeal, okay, in which the hero faces his biggest test of all. So this is something that you're like, wow, I've never experienced anything like this before. It could be a person. It could be a situation. Whatever your dragon is, you know, it's unique to you. Okay, of all the tests the hero has faced, none have made them hit rock bottom. So you're at literally rock bottom. You feel like you've never been to this place before. You feel so low, right? Until now, you've never experienced that. Apparently, Vulgar describes this phase as the black moment. Some people call it the dark night of the soul.
Belly of the beast.
The belly of the beast. Campbell refers to it as the belly of the whale. But it doesn't matter. They both indicate some grim news for the hero. So you're like, oh, you know, I can't do this. So this is the feeling it brings on. Okay, the protagonist must now confront their greatest fear. If they survive it, they will emerge transformed, kind of like the phoenix rising from the ashes. Now, this is a critical moment in the story. Okay, as Vulgar explains this, explains that it will inform every decision that the hero makes from this point forward. The ordeal is sometimes not the climax of the story. Okay, there's more to come, but you can think of it as the main event of the second act, the one in which the hero actually earns the title of being a hero. This is when you really recognize that, hey, I'm a big deal.
Yeah, it's when you recognize that you really are a big deal. Okay, so once again, this can be in a couple of different situations. Like you may be at your job and you feel like you just want to quit, you know, and there may be some options for you to explore. And once again, even through like your twin flame journey, okay, you may get to the point where you're so tired of this running and chasing and you just want to give up and you feel like you're going to die if you don't have your twin flame. Okay, I know that may sound a little bit extreme, but some people act like that. Okay,
it's true.
So just keeping that in mind. But okay, so we've pretty much like given you all an overview of the hero's journey, so you know what that is and you know about the ordeal stage. So now we're going to talk about why is this stage so difficult.
Oh, we're going to break this down. We're going to break it down all the way. All right. So why is this so difficult, right? So keep in mind, on a regular everyday life, right? The unconscious mind and the other, on the other hand, is a term coined by the few referred to a part of the mind that cannot be known by the conscious mind. It includes socially unacceptable ideas, wishes, and desires, traumatic memories, and painful emotions that have been repressed. So, in other words, we take a lot of our traumatic memories, traumatic ideas, even things that we don't want to associate with, but we took part in or we partook in, we literally shove that in the unconscious. So this is when the more things you shove in the unconscious, the darker your shadow becomes. The more you unidentify with something, the larger, the deeper, the darker your shadow is, and which means that the more work you have to do when it's time for you to do some shadow work. Because you just keep piling and pressing and pushing that stuff down. Now, the funny thing is, our unconscious mind, you know, plays a really big role in our actions, our feelings, our emotions, how we really react and respond to people, things, circumstances on our day-to-day basis. And the really crazy thing is our conscious and our conscious mind, they don't talk to one another.
Yeah. So, hey, I mean, while we're on the subject, let's dive a little bit more into this to see what is going on here. All right. Boom. So what's going on here? All right. So if you can see on this diagram, this is actually a diagram that we pulled. Gosh, I'm forgetting it. What's the name of the website, baby? Gosh, I forgot the name of the website. But what's going on here? Okay, while you're in this this low phase, and once again, remember that this happens multiple times throughout your life. Okay, what's going on is that in the fight or flight mode, we do not have the time to process the traumas that we've experienced. Okay, and so if we don't have the tools to handle these traumas as they come up, what happens is that the trauma gets pushed down from the conscious mind to the subconscious mind, and lastly to the unconscious mind if severe enough. And if you can see, this is just an illustration of what's going on here, where you can see this blue line represents the conscious mind, and the red line represents the indication of the journey to the underworld. So as we are going through our lives and we're going through certain situations, and these lines, these black lines represent like the lower frequencies that we get into. So when we start getting into low vibrational stuff, and you know, our conscious mind and everything is up here, all of that trauma and everything gets sucked down into our unconscious mind. All right. So that's just a little bit of an illustration for you so that you can understand what's going on. But we are going to now dive a little bit deeper into each one of these minds. And what I mean by each one of these minds, I'm talking about the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the unconscious mind, so that you can have a little bit more understanding as to what is going on.
Right.
All right. So let's go. All right. So what's going on in the conscious mind, sweetheart?
I'm glad that you asked. So for the conscious mind, this one is pretty easy, right? So you're in the moment and aware of what is going on. So you kind of seeing a car, you know, goes by, you're able to see it. You're just kind of like in the moment. So the conscious mind involves all of the things that you're currently aware of or thinking about, right? It's pretty easy.
Yeah, pretty easy. All right. So y'all know about that. Y'all are pretty conscious right now. So,
right.
So we appreciate y'all for being here. Okay. Now, the next part is the subconscious mind. All right. Now, the subconscious mind, I'm going a little bit deeper here. All right. So in the subconscious mind, this is where you push past your trauma to continue your task and put your trauma on the back burner until you're able to deal with it later.
Right.
All right. Now, in the field of psychology, right? Well, let me bring this out so y'all can see us a little bit more. Okay. Now, in the field of psychology, the subconscious refers to the part of the conscious that we are unaware of. Okay. It is the information that we are not actively aware of at the moment, but that can influence us nonetheless. Okay. Such things as like from what you've heard and what you've seen and things of that nature, like those things are stored in your subconscious as something that we act upon when, gosh, why am I? Yeah, I got to excuse me. I'm switching things around. I'm doing two things at once. Okay, two things at once. So I'm keeping that train of thought going. But in that subconscious mind, it's like just recording what happened when we stumped our toe.
Right.
And so whenever you stump your toe again, then it's going to bring back up that memory, and you're just going to act out what you already went through. So it's like you're kind of repeating the thing over and over again, but that's just a little bit of the tip of the subconscious. But the unconscious mind is where a lot of stuff goes into. And to be quite honest, I don't think most people talk about the unconscious mind.
No.
It's like, it's almost like the subconscious mind and the unconscious mind are one and the same.
But they're not one and the same.
They're not one and the same. What's going on here with Electrica? What is she saying? Literally notice demons like entities.
She said, I literally face demons like entities when doing my inner journeys, shadow work. At first, I was scared of it, but realizing my own darkness and working through it takes some time. but it gets better. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Those
It
are
does
all
get better.
aspects. Yeah. All aspects of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing
Yes,
that.
yes, yes. And what's up, Max? We appreciate you for being in the building. Thank you so much. All right. So now we're going to go into the next part that most people don't talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Most people don't talk about this unconscious. All right. Let me move this out the way. All right. Boom.
All right.
Okay. So the unconscious mind. You want to do the first part or the second part?
I'll do the second part.
Okay. All right. So the unconscious mind, this is where the trauma was too big for you to handle. Okay. And you have chosen to forget about it altogether. But it is still there. And it left a piece of you. And you left a piece of yourself behind. So this should be yourself behind, not you behind.
Well,
okay.
Same thing.
Same thing.
You don't got it, but you know more.
Right.
Right. So keep in mind, unconscious mind, on the other hand, is a term coined by one of those psychologists,
Freud or something like that.
One of them. To refer to the part of the mind that cannot be known by the conscious mind. So that's what we mentioned in the beginning. The conscious and the unconscious, they don't communicate.
Mm-hmm.
It includes socially unacceptable ideas, like we talked about. You might have fetishes and things like that you're ashamed of. Maybe promiscuous ways and stuff like that you're not so excited about.
Mm-hmm.
You push that that goes into the unconscious mind. Any type of wishes, desires, traumatic memories, painful emotions. They're literally repressed and shoved down into the unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we experience repeated trauma, such as violence or abuse, or when trauma goes on without any type of healing or anything like that, bullying, your emotional body begins to fragment. We talk about the subtle bodies. So the emotional body is one of our subtle bodies.
Yes.
So once that begins to fragment, that means you're literally losing pieces of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When the pain becomes too great, a part of us holding that pain will shut down. And this is the point when it goes unconscious and move away from your cognition.
Yes.
This is when some people start feeling, like they want to be beamed up. They're not ready. They're tired of this place and they don't want to be here anymore. Okay. Because a larger portion of themselves is missing because it's shoved all the way down to the unconscious. And again, let's go back. The conscious and the unconscious, they don't communicate. So you feel like this is where the void comes from. Sometimes people have this empty feeling, no matter how much they eat, no matter how much addictions that they have, no matter how much money they have, no matter what, nothing satisfies them and nothing fulfills them because the largest portion of themselves is suppressed in the unconscious. All right.
Yes.
Now, we talked about the people wanting to be beamed up. We can't say the S words. So that's why I'm not saying the S word.
Oh, yeah, we can. Yeah.
Okay. So,
about that.
Right.
On YouTube.
Right. So all of these feelings and stuff like that can subside when the pain breaks away and goes into the unconscious. So this is like a survival skill that we learn to kind of survive, is to push those things further down into the unconscious so that we can forget about it and we can come back up to surface, back up to consciousness so that we can kind of somehow carry on with our life.
Right.
Right. But if the portion of ourselves that has been fragmented is too big, this is where things can get kind of hazy.
Yep. And J Gems, that's this is a good point. She's talking about smoking weed. I would feel like I'm being attacked, then realize it's my inner anxieties and self-consciousness.
Wow. Yeah.
See, this is how these things surface up. But you're actually in a good place because you're recognizing where it comes from. So you have you're actually a little bit a step ahead of the presentation that we're about to go into.
Right.
But you're going to see how you're really a step ahead of the game. So definitely kudos to you. Kudos. All right. So now, once again, just like my baby said just a moment ago, if too many pieces of yourself break off, we lose enough of our personal power that we may not be able to function in a normal society.
Right. And this is where the term comes from, take your power back.
Right.
You literally have to go and retrieve your power. right?
Yeah.
And we're gonna break this down a little bit further.
Yeah, because when you have too many of these pieces that's just broken off, you know, you can end up into addictions, unable to hold your job. You know, you're always struggling at the survival level. And when you spend more time in depression than participating in life, it can be a signal that we have lost a significant portion of our emotional body.
Yes.
Okay. And this is where the struggle really gets in, because, you know, and a lot of these things happen at an early age.
Very early.
It's sad but true, but a lot of this stuff happens at an early age. And when we start, you know, it's kind of like if you have a hole in your pocket, right? And you got a pocket full of change, even though change is short right now.
Right. Pocket full of change, but you're staying the same.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but just imagine you were walking down the street with a pocket full of change, and you get a hole that develops in your pocket. And after a while, you just start walking and you're not even aware that you got coins just falling out of your pocket. And so these coins represent pieces of yourself. And once you recognize that, hold on, damn, I know I had about $10 worth of change in my pocket. Now I only got like $2. Where did it go?
Right. Now you at the store trying to pay for something, but guess what? You're broke.
And now you got to go back, retrace your steps,
literally,
and pick up your change.
Pick your change up so that you could change and you would no longer be broke. You'll be whole again, right?
Yes.
Good analogy.
Yeah. So just once again, we're talking about, for those of y'all who are just joining in, we're talking about really taking a deeper look into the hero's journey to a specific point. Just kind of midway through the hero's journey. Once again, the hero's journey can happen multiple times throughout our lives, but there's this low point that if we're not aware of it, we can miss pieces of ourselves.
Right.
And so we're talking about gaining those pieces back. So if y'all are just checking in, what's up, Honeydew?
Oh, Honeydew in the house. Max in his house.
Yes, it's making it rain with those thunders. So silly. So silly. And Jay said, can you help anyone else pick up their change? Or
it's up to you.
Now, real quick, Jay, with this, you know, if this was something that was really going on in real life, then yeah, you help them pick up that change. But in this sense, it's more of a metaphor. Okay, we're talking about change that you have left in the deepest parts of yourself.
If you could go inside yourself, then yeah, right? If you can go in there and
you see those pieces, like, hey, you dropped this. Like, here's your childhood abandonment.
Right. There you go. You left that down there.
What?
Let me go in there unconscious for you.
Here's your abandonment issues.
Right.
You know, if you can do that, then hey, go right ahead. But once again, this is
I mean, okay, so you could support, and we're gonna get to that part where you can offer support. Okay. And it's good to have people around you to support you along this journey. It's kind of like going to the restroom, right? If someone asks, you know, do you have a restroom? You can be like, sure. And you see the person looking around and they don't really, they hadn't figured it out where it's at. You can be like, you know what? Hey, go down, make a left, and then make a right, and then you see it on the left, right? And so you can guide them. And if you still see that they're having problems, you can actually go with them. So you can be like, you know what? Come on, I'll take you, right? But then when they get to the restroom, you can't sit down for them. Okay? So it's the same thing with this journey.
Right.
You can guide some people, well, everyone. You can guide them only up to a particular point. After a particular point, they're going to have to go use the bathroom on their own.
Yep.
Right? Same thing.
Yeah. Because even with the babies, like, even though, like, you can sit them down on the pot, right? But you can't make them push outwards on the inside.
Right. If they're a little bit constipated. If they're a little bit constipated, right? You can give them some stool softener. You can give them some prunes. You can give them stuff that would make that process a little easier for them. But at the end of the day, they still have to do that process on their own.
Right. Facts. No copy. All right. So yeah, but that's an awesome question.
Yeah.
Though. Good question. Good question. But let's go ahead and let's continue into this.
You so stupid.
You saw it. Yeah, I put it up there. Like, she's
honey,
so
dude, you are retarded. Oh my God.
Did you drop your Kundalini?
Y'all so silly today. Oh my gosh. I cannot, man.
Yep.
Y'all are funny.
All right. Well, let's go ahead. Let's go into the next point. The next point we're going to look at is, okay, so at some point you got to go back and retrieve this stuff, right?
You have to.
And when you choose to consciously heal, now, once again, you have to choose to consciously heal.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can do this for you.
Yes.
Okay? Your emotional body will, hold on, I'm blocking my own view. Your emotional body will take us on the hero's journey and recover the necessary power to fuel our forward momentum.
Yes.
Okay? Now, in this part, what's really going on is that we are journeying. Wow.
All right, baby. It's okay. It's okay.
We journey to the underworld to recover our missing pieces of ourselves and bring it back to heal and reintegrate.
Yes.
Okay? So we will not make this journey until we have the necessary tools to support the healing, which makes sense now that when we are kids, teenagers, young adults, like most of the times we don't have the necessary tools in order to handle these things as they come up. And now the beautiful thing is that a lot of us are learning this stuff. A lot of people are taking their kids out of the indoctrinated system. Okay, so now the children that are coming up have the opportunity to have these tools and be able to do it at a younger age, so that they don't have so many missing pieces of themselves that they have to go back and pick up. And
even in the event that they do, because again, this journey happens multiple times in our lifetime, right? Even if they do encounter anything as such, they will have the necessary tools to help them to come up out of the situation instead of feeling stuck. See, it's not being in the situation, you know, that's kind of like crazy, right? It's having the tools to help us get out of the situation. That's what makes the difference. So it doesn't matter what situation we find ourselves in. As long as we have those tools, we'll be all right.
Yep. Now, for any of you all who may feel like, am I at my lowest point? Now, if you got to ask that question, you know, you got to.
Maybe you're not.
Maybe you're not.
If you got to ask, you're not. You still got more to go.
You still got more to go. But these are just some of the signs that when we're at our lowest point, this is what's happening. Actually, let's go over these points first before I go into that. All right. And yes, we have to go through these situations to give future generations those tools. Yes.
Right.
This is, you know, this is one of the real main reasons that we have to do this, because once again, we're trying to break these generational courses, right? If y'all didn't catch that, that's from my baby's book.
Generational courses.
Generational courses.
They want to say curses, but I call them courses. I mean, if you want to say a curse, I mean, you can, right? But I prefer to say courses.
Yes, but this is the reason why your shadow work is so vital, okay? It's not only just because you want to connect with your twin flame. It's not only because you want to get to the highest version of yourself. It's that you want to do like our ancestors did and leave tools behind for the next generation to build upon.
Exactly. Even if somebody mess around and hide those tools, okay,
you did your part.
You did your part, and eventually they'll be able to uncover them, even if it's under a volcano. I'm just saying.
Look, hey, just a little side note, we just been diving deep. We just found out even more evidence that we've been lied to all of our life, but that's a whole nother video. Listen, not for YouTube.
That's what happens when you start reading and meditating a lot. You just start getting too much information.
Okay. Well, let's get into it. So, baby, could you
Yes,
cover these
I'll be
parts.
happy, because this for me, in this entire video, if you guys don't listen to anything else in this entire video, I want y'all to pay attention to this right here, okay? This one to me is very vital, because I know that especially since 2020, the whole world has been in some traumatic situation, one way or another, conscious or unconscious. We've just been on edge. Well, not so much me, sometimes, but for the most part, as a collective, I should say, the world has been on edge. And there is some level of trauma that is associated with 2020 up until now. Okay, but it's kind of wearing itself thin now, because we know it's at this point in time, we're like, really? Yeah. But let's get into this. Yeah. So signs we are at our lowest point. And guys, before I go into the lowest points, I don't want anyone to feel bad for being at their lowest point. No. Okay. Please don't. Never feel bad for being at your lowest point. Never blame yourself for being at your lowest point. And I'm going to show you why through these points where you can find appreciation and gratitude for your lowest point. Okay. So the first thing is we begin to withdraw. We begin to withdraw from life. That's the first thing that. Change that. You know, because you deleted it.
Oh, I started over.
Started over. Okay.
Sorry for the mistype, y'all.
It's okay. So we begin to withdraw from life. That's the first thing. And the reason why you want to withdraw from life, or you would feel like you're withdrawing from life, is because you're actually pulling your energy back. You're pulling you're going this way now, because you're going to need that energy to get on this journey. All right. So you may start making poor choices in food or addictions. So maybe you had quit smoking 5, 6, 7 years ago, and all of a sudden you start smoking again, right? Or maybe you had slow down on the wine, and all of a sudden you just finished the whole bottle, right? Now, the reason why this is happening is because this helps us to match the vibration of the peace we were recovering. Pay attention to that, guys. You hear that? This helps us to match the vibration of the peace we are recovering. We may find ourselves craving food or drugs we stopped taking years ago. This is how we magnetize the fragment. This is how you pull the fragment towards you. Yes. Okay. Now, the next thing you're going to notice, we may be unable to handle the responsibility of our life. You know, something as simple as paying your cell phone bill. You might be like, oh my God, beam me up. Yeah. You know, you just don't want to do it anymore. Now, this often happens because the part of us that is missing may be very young. So I want to let that sink in right there. Okay. This often happens because the part of us that is missing may be very young. So you might have been very young when you had a traumatizing experience and you shoved that bad boy all the way to the unconscious. Okay. And we need to match its vibrations so we can hook it. All right. So if you feeling childish, you know, you might feel like you want to do things that you were doing when you were a kid. And the reason why is because the same thing, you're trying to be a energetic match to that portion of yourself so that you can actually pull it up. All right. Next thing, we may become so anxious we cannot function. You might be crying all the time, you know, and you might feel like something is really, really wrong with you. Now, this is the pivoting point, because this indicates we are now connected to that missing piece. You know, remember, we left that piece down in the unconscious. And when we left it down there, we were crying, we were bawling, we were hollering, we were screaming, all this type of stuff. That's an energetic signature. So in order for you to retrieve that, you have to match that energetic signature. Right. All right. So again, this indicates we are now connected to the missing piece, as these feelings are often what the fragment was feeling before it went unconscious. That's important to remember, okay? Now, at the bottom of this journey is the lowest frequency. Keep that in mind, okay? We may feel like we want to, again, be beamed up. Come on, you know, whoever you're, Pleiadians, Anunnaki, come get me. Yeah. This is it for me. All right. Now, this is important because this is where the missing piece went unconscious. Yes. Now that we have this type of information, right? Now, instead of us just asking to be beamed up, now we can actually know what's happening. You can come to yourself and be like, oh my God, I'm doing shadow work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm collecting a fragment of myself that I left in the unconscious. This is why I'm doing all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So let me go and retrieve that part. Because now you're at a match. You don't just stay at the match. You're at the match because you're collecting aspects of yourselves.
Yes.
Okay? So this is how in just this knowing, just having this knowledge can give you compassion for yourself and even for others when you see them going through their you know, their little situationships and stuff like that.
Yes.
They might be collecting fragments of themselves.
And thank you. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, babe.
Yes, and thank you, Northern Comfort Tarot, for tuning in with us. We appreciate you for being here. She said that this is exactly what I'm revisiting right now.
Wow.
Venting back to that point of low to heal.
Low, yeah, you have to. Because if you want to collect that part of yourself, you have to get it, and it's in a low frequency. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's really the work. Okay. Yeah. But we're about to because we just gave y'all some things to really look at, but now we're gonna really help you in taking your power back. Are y'all ready?
Yes.
To become more powerful.
Right.
Okay. If you're ready to become more powerful, drop a 1 in the chat.
Yeah, let's go. Let's see some ones coming up here.
Yes, yes, yes. Because this information right here is something that is vital. It is so vital during this time that that we're in right now.
Because a lot of people, they believe it or not, they got beamed up.
Yeah, yeah. If y'all not aware of the walkouts that are going on right now, we're not talking about the walkouts at Burger King and Popeyes and McDonald's, and we ain't talking about those type of walkouts. We're talking about walkouts where people are leaving their bodies behind.
They are leaving. They are gone. They're not. They're like, you know what? I did my hero's journey. Let's go.
Yep. Now, yeah. So this is going to be very key because once again, keep in mind that this is a journey. We go from level 1 to 2, 3, all the way up to infinity. Okay. And we've gone through a lot of levels. Y'all have gone through a lot of levels, but for whatever particular reason, maybe just because of the times that we're in right now, because this definitely is an apocalypse. Things are being revealed.
People dying and coming back to life.
You got floods going on
everywhere. You got the pestilence out, famine,
rock slides going on. It's like, okay, so now at this point in time, like things are really shaky for everybody. Okay,
the rubber hitting the road, man.
And they get like to the point, like, man, just beam me up. I'm tired of this. I can't do it no more. Let me just stay in like Northern Comfort. Let me just stay in the bed. Let me just stay in the bed right now. It'll be okay when I wake up. I get out of bed when things go back to the way they used to be.
Right.
You know? But yeah, so y'all are ready.
So y'all ready to take this power back?
Oh yeah, we got quite a few ones that.
All right, beautiful. Okay.
So now just keep in mind what we were talking about before, because when you're doing this work, when you're, for example, if you stop smoking and all of a sudden you feel the urge to smoke again, that's just an indication that there's a part of you that you left behind that you need to pick up.
Exactly. And that's just one of the indications of what part is like it's like yourself is trying to show you hints. Okay, so if you had stopped smoking and all of a sudden you feel the urge to smoke, you know, apparently more than likely the part of you that needs to heal is a part of you, you know, something happened when you used to smoke. So that's just the indication to let you know.
Right. Okay. So here you go. We got 4 steps. They're simple, but not simple.
They're not. It reads simple.
Yes.
But it's quite the work. Okay. And this is why a lot of people don't do shadow work because it's hard.
Yeah.
It is not easy at all. You have to go into a low frequency and collect yourself and bring it back up. That's why it's the hero's journey.
Yep. All right. So here you go. We're going to give y'all an opportunity to take a screenshot of this if you want to. All right. So there are 4 steps into reclaiming the fractions of yourself. Okay. Once again, remember what we talked about before. If you are having feelings that you know that you did your shadow work on and you're like, okay, I'm done with this, but it comes back up. So you want to match the feeling of the lost pieces of yourself. So that feeling that you have about smoking again, that feeling that you have about whatever addiction you have, maybe it's drugs, sex, money, whatever that is, think about where that originated from. Okay? Think about what happened in order for you to feel that way.
And don't be afraid to get help, guys.
Yes, please don't be afraid to get help. Please don't be afraid to get help. But we're going to run through these real quickly, and then we're going to talk about them a little bit more in depth. But secondly, you don't run from the feelings.
Don't. You can't. You're going to prolong it. You're going to make it turn away and turn back.
Yeah, this is what's going on a lot in the run and chaser phase with twin flames, is that they are running from their feelings, and not just from the feelings from their partner, they're running from their own feelings. Okay? Now, once you're able to stay there with those feelings, the third step is to integrate the trauma. Okay? This is where you embrace it and you accept it just as it is. Not putting any labels on it, just saying, this is what happened.
Right. And accept yourself, because remember, you're going back for a fragment of yourself. That's a part of yourself you left there because you didn't want to have nothing to do with it. Okay, it was tainted. It was just yucky, like, ooh, you know, that's not me, right? So you want to go back to that part of yourself, and you want to allow that part of yourself to receive love. Now, keep in mind, that part of yourself, it's still in that frequency, right? It's still feeling afraid. It's still be on the frequency of mistrust. It's still on the frequency of being misguided. It's still on the frequency of being unloved. So now, and this is why you're feeling the way that you're feeling, because you match the frequency. Okay. So now that you're there, you have to literally go and hug yourself. You can it's going to take some imagination here. Okay. But it's okay. Imagination is just as real because it begins here before you can bring it into this solid place. So when you go into the imagination or you time travel, you know, you go back to that aspect of self and you talk to that aspect of self. I don't, at this point, it doesn't even matter who thinks you're crazy, because this is nobody's business.
No.
Okay. This is something that you should be doing by yourself. So you talk to that aspect of yourself, and you, however that aspect of self is feeling, right? If that aspect of self is feeling unloved, you let that aspect of self know that you are loved, you are cared for, you matter. Okay. And you put that reassurance in that aspect of self. If that aspect of self feels isolated, or if it feels abandoned, you let that aspect of self know that you're not abandoned, you're loved, and you're wonderful, you know. And so this is how you heal that portion of yourself, by telling yourself a different aspect of the story. That's how you heal it.
Yes.
Whatever is going on, you let that aspect of self know that it is okay to rise to the top and come with me. Okay, that's how you integrate it. You bring it with you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, because these are some things, like, once again, this is something that you definitely need to be aware of. Now, one of the kind of a precursor on this, there is a major tool that is a part of this step that we actually didn't put in the slide. And it wasn't on purpose. It's actually something, it just came to mind, just, you know, spirit just came through and it's like, hey, give them this tool. So I'm giving you all this tool. Okay.
Bring it through.
And that tool is a mindfulness practice. Okay. Because when you practice mindfulness, it puts you in the now moment. It puts you in the present moment. Okay. And when you're in that present moment, then you can catch yourself, kind of like when back in the day when I was, you know, still plugged into the matrix, and I was driving back home, and then I made a turn that I should not have made, because I was, in my mind, I was going home, but I had to go to the store first. So I was on autopilot and I took the exit that would have took me home instead of me going to the exit to go to the store. So at that moment, I was like, hold up. I was trying to go to the store. What the hell is going on? And so I realized that, oh, I was on autopilot. What the hell happened to the point that I was on autopilot? Now, that led me down a whole other rabbit hole, and that is just too long for me to go over. But when you're in that moment, you can recognize these these points when you're at your lowest, not even at your lowest point. You will recognize when you have lost a piece of yourself. Because when one of those habits, thought forms, or anything of that nature pop up, people are like, hold up, I thought I got over this. I guess not. Where did it originate from?
Well, you did get over it, but you never went through it.
See, that's why she's a smart one.
Don't listen to this.
Yeah. Well, once you've gone through and you've done all of these things, you're in the moment, you're aware of what's going on, you match that feeling, you get back into that moment, and you really sit with it. You don't run from it. And once you're able to look at it from a 360-degree view, because once again, that's another tool that we have as adults that we didn't have when we were children, is that we can't see the situation from our parents' point of view. We couldn't see the situation from our mom's eyes, or from our dad's eyes, or from our siblings' eyes, from our grandparents' eyes. We didn't see the whole picture. We only saw just our world. And so that's another tool that is in our arsenal, is that now we're able to take a 360 view and look at everything that was going on. Once again, accept all pieces of it, accept the traumatized parts of your parents, the traumatized parts of your siblings, the traumatized parts for all of your relatives or anybody else that was included in that situation. Just understand that there was some type of trauma that happened with them. And so they weren't equipped to help you through your situation. Okay? So yeah. Did I say too much?
Why you say that? Let me just go to the next slide.
Oh, that's the last one.
Oh, that's the last one?
Yeah, that's the last slide. Yeah. So those are the steps that we wanted to share with you all. Once again, let me bring it back up here so that you all can see it one more time. So if you want to take a screenshot of that, you can definitely do so.
It looks like we got some questions in the chat.
Questions.
Looks like Divine Tulip says she's leaving. Thank you, love you for being here. Victory of Love got a question.
Okay.
He said, how do you know where or what point in time the pain is exactly? Good question. Yeah,
that is a good question. It's going to come from each individual point. Gosh, like you would have to say, like, for example, if you have abandonment issues, right? Okay, you have to think back as far as your memory would take you and think about, where did I first experience this feeling of abandonment? Okay, and abandonment is not in just one box. Okay, abandonment could have been that your parents didn't pick you up from school on time and you were the last kid there. You felt embarrassed because it's just you and the teachers. Or you can have abandonment issues because nobody showed up to your game. Or you can have abandonment issues if nobody listened to you. You know, nobody gave you the hugs and kisses that you wanted. So on some level, you felt abandoned. So it's different levels, but you know when that point was. And you can go back to that point and then come out and take a 360 view about it and see what was really going on. Now, in some cases, the child doesn't have a good relationship with their parent. And they may not even have a good relationship with their parent up until this very moment. And so in order to really get some real healing, you're going to have to find out your parents' backstory. Like, what led them up to the point to where they had you, and what led them up to the point to where you experienced life the way that you experienced it. Okay? Because when I was able to do that for my mother and recognize that she was a single mom raising 3 kids, working 2 jobs at sometimes even 3, like, it gives you compassion, and you can have an opportunity to step back and heal from that. Okay.
Or you can also Victory of Love. I don't know if you have access to the shadow work video that we have. I think it's on YouTube, right? The shadow work, because I actually did that. It's like I did a reverse engineer when it came to because I know I had work to do, and those feelings can morph into different behaviors. It can morph into different reactions and responses. It doesn't always, because they come from our core belief. And our core belief is held in the unconscious, unfortunately, right? And some even in the subconscious. And these are programs that we instill in ourselves, and we hold near and dear to those programs. And because I might say, like, okay, I hate myself, right? I don't, but I'm just giving an example of a core belief. This core belief was first implanted when I was a kid. Maybe I was 7 years old. One day I went to school, and everybody, the entire class probably laughed at me because I was wearing the ugliest outfit to everyone. They teased me. And so for a child, that's traumatic.
Yes.
And so something like that will get put into the unconscious. You know, they'll go home and their mom will make them feel good. They might give some chocolate cake if they're that lucky, right? They might have to self-soothe if they don't have someone to help them to, get rid of that terrible feeling. So if they don't, it gets pushed even further into the unconscious. And so that's how the core belief is born. I hate myself.
Yes.
Right? And so as you get older now, you probably forget that you put that in there, right? You store that away. So, but now you're acting like that. You do things to self-sabotage. Unconsciously, you might have an appointment to go to. Let's say you have this big opportunity to get this big position or whatnot, right? You show up late. You might spill coffee on yourself, right? You probably didn't make your resume look as good as you should have. These are self-sabotaging actions stemming from the subconscious, from the core belief of I hate myself. Right? So we have different core beliefs. And because of those core beliefs, they make us behave and react and respond and interact with people in different ways. So you got to dive in and do some shadow work, because that one core belief can be attached to 20 different actions.
It branches out.
It branches out far and wide.
Yeah. And I think you touched on this a little bit in regards to this question that Dee put in here, which I really think goes with how does one do this if they dissociate a lot, disassociate a lot? That's a lot of burying.
Right.
That's a lot of burying that goes on, and that's a slippery slope, because you can disassociate so much, which means that you're pushing so much stuff down into the subconscious that you're losing so many pieces of yourself that you can be standing with like 2 or 3 little pieces just dangling together, and if somebody blow on you the wrong way, you're gone. Now, if somebody is dissociating that much, that is a point that we would definitely recommend that you get professional help, or that person gets professional help, because we're not talking, because we know D, you good, but if someone is disassociating so much to the point to where they just can't even go into it, professional help is going to be needed, but the help is not going to be received unless they ask for it.
I think she said it was her.
She said it was her.
That's what she said. She said, I tend to disassociate at times of stress or when it feels uncomfortable.
Yeah, we do that a lot, and but that leads into the point, why is this so important for us to do this? And let me go back to this real quick and share this point. Let me go. Oh no, not that far. All right, let me bring this back up. Where'd it go? All right. So if we remember this, Umi, you okay? Calm down. Calm down. Okay. So, so if we remember on this hero journey, once again, we're talking about number 8 being the lowest point of our hero's journey. And what happens is that once we're able to get past this ordeal, once we're able to go through and pick up the pieces and become whole again, then we can move forward towards the reward. There's a reward that is waiting for you on the other side. There's a reward that is waiting for you after you pick up all of your pieces. And I don't know about y'all, but I like rewards.
The reward is you. That's the reward. And within you collecting you become more powerful. Because that aspect of yourself that you buried in the unconscious, in the unconscious mind, it carries a certain sense of power and fulfillment. If your 2 arms was cut off, right, it will be very difficult for you to write and for you to do things if you don't have your arms, right? So when you're fragmented, especially a big portion of yourself, you know, if you leave that in the unconscious and you finally get to retrieve it, it's like having somebody give you your 2 arms back. Now you're powerful. Now you're whole again. Now you can do more things. So you are the reward.
So just like how Luke Skywalker managed to get the strength up so that he can fight Darth Vader. If I'm saying that right, please forgive me for my Star Wars fans. I may have said that wrong. But in so many different things, like in Home Alone, when Kevin was able to get the courage up to stand up to the 2 guys trying to rob the house, now he becomes the victor. He gets this reward. And he becomes more powerful because he was more self-reliant. He didn't have to wait on anybody else. There's a big prize that is at the end of doing your shadow work. There is a big prize at the end of putting all your pieces back together, and it's you. And you are an infinite being with unlimited potential and unlimited power. You can grant your own wishes.
There you go. And it looks like somebody, was that Catherine?
Let me switch this around.
Yeah, it looks like she said something pretty important in the chat there.
Close the thing. Okay, there we go.
All right.
Let's get this over here so we can see this a little bit bigger.
All right, there we go. She got it right up there. What did she say? All right. She said, I used to do that, and because my Neptune was retrograde, my physical energy wasn't even inside my own body. That reversed right before my twin came back in and triggered my awakening.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
All right. And what is this that I've been wishing us done? That's probably tied to something else. Okay. All right. What is this owl? Oh, it's just a person. Okay. All right. So yeah, but that's pretty much what we have for this evening. Really wanted to give you all some powerful tools to really dig deep and take your power back, because this is the time. If there's ever been a time for you to buckle down and just really put in some work, and the feeling that I'm getting, and you may want to pull the thing for that because we haven't gone over that, but the thing that I'm feeling right now is that in the past, shadow work may not have been so easy. Okay. But right now it is really easy. It just takes you stepping past that fear. Once you step past that fear, you will get the courage that is needed in order to move forward. And once you get that courage and start moving forward, you're going to start integrating things one after the other. You're going to be walking around this whole universe, picking up your coins, picking up your pieces of yourself like you're a Sonic. You're going to be running up and down all throughout this universe, picking up all your pieces and coming back whole, because it's going to be needed. It's going to be needed.
Oh, Honeydew said, I have so many fragments from childhood trauma in different stages. It's so complex. I have recovered many fragments, but sometimes I think it will take me another lifetime to pick up all the pieces. But you know, Honeydew, keep in mind that our words create worlds and they're very powerful, right? So in saying, in really, and see, that statement is what I would consider to be a core belief. And that core belief gets stored in your unconscious, right? And so everything that you do, it would really carry out after those, the actions would stem from that core belief. So if you tell yourself the story that you have so many and it's so complex, your imagination, you know, your will is going to work to make sure that it is complex. And it's also going to work to make sure that you do need another lifetime to figure it out. Right? So you just want to be very mindful. Our words are very powerful and we are super powerful beings. Like we literally speak stuff into existence. So just be very mindful. And it is very overwhelming sometimes when you, trust me. It is very overwhelming sometimes, but no matter how disempowered you feel in the moment, you always want to give yourself words of empowerment to allow you to kind of come out of the situation. Acknowledge it's shitty, you know, you don't want to not say this is a shitty situation, you know, because it is. You don't want to do spiritual bypassing, right?
Right. And Honeydew, you know, you got our information. You're one of our day ones. So if you ever feel like the weight is just too heavy, give a brother and your sister a call.
You know, we family.
Come on now. And that's for like, man, it's so many of y'all that we've worked with over the years, and we've built a good relationship with you all.
Very good.
Even though we may seem inaccessible at times, we do what we can to help. So if we can respond, it is our responsibility to respond.
Yes, Honeydew, hit us up. You know, you could just, Honeydew is one of those people that can call us anytime. Because we love Honeydew. Like I said, Honeydew is probably one of our first subscribers. You know, the only one watching.
Now, for those of y'all who may not know, which is that once you've done a session with us, you pretty much family. Like you have ways to get in contact with us if anything ever goes down. Now, our first goal, whenever we do a session with you or anybody else that we work with, our intention, our goal is to help you out in that first session and give you all the necessary tools that you need to be successful on your own. Now, just because we give you the tools to be successful on your own doesn't mean that we don't care about you after that. It doesn't mean that we don't check up on you from time to time. It's just an indication that you have us in your back pocket. We are like another tool. We are a specialist tool that you can pull out of your bag. We're like crafts. We're like craftsman tools. We're the type of tools it's like $2,000 that you got in your back pocket whenever you need us. Okay, so just know if you need help along your journey, we would be so honored and so humbled to do a session with you. As you can see, the link that's down below there, you can go to that link. The link should be in the description. And you can book a session with us, and we would be more and more happy to help you, because at this point in time, we want to help bring as many people through ascension as possible. We're over here doing our work, and believe me, our cup is overflowing. Okay, and so we will do our best to help you out as well. So book a session. We'll be so happy to help you out.
And if you're having financial difficulties, we do have a 40% off special. You know, if you're really wanting to talk to someone and you could really use that 40% off, send us an email and let us know.
Yes.
Okay.
And in addition to that, before we go into the card, last thing, if you are on a budget, but you still need help, definitely go to that link as well. And probably the cheapest and easiest way to connect with us is going to be becoming a Royal Twin Flame on our site.
That will be your best bet. If you're having financial difficulties and you're in a situation, becoming a Royal Twin Flame would be your best bet, because you would, for a really small price, you would be able to look at all of the webinars, and you will be able to learn and gain so much from those webinars. Probably will answer a lot of your questions, like, who am I? That's a big question. People just starting to really discover who they really are.
Yeah.
Right.
And in addition to that, we also hold our Royal Twin Flame meetings every first and third Saturday of every month. And those webinars are pretty much open forum. So if there's any burning questions or anything that's going on in your life, that's your opportunity to talk about it. And that is something that is included in the membership at no additional cost.
Right. And also don't forget to purchase the book, guys.
Yes.
Show your support, purchase the book. Martha's also a butterfly, lots of inspirational poems, conversations with higher self, very beautiful book, and it gives you a chance to support us in our venture of being authors, right?
Yes.
Twin Flame authors. And also, if you would like to support the channel, you can exit out of the chat and you can become either a supporter. We have 3 tiers on YouTube. You can become a supporter, or you can be a Twin Flame supporter, or you can be a Royal Starseed. And being a Royal Starseed, and I think the Twin Flame supporter, gives you access to I think private videos that's on YouTube. One of them is the shadow work video, which is very good.
Yes, yes, yes. And Catherine, we've elevated a little bit. We consider ourselves God. And right now we're just going through our God training and learning how to use our powers all over again. And if you want to dive a little bit deeper into what we're talking about, because next month's webinars that we're about to do for the website are going to be some next level stuff.
Right. Gods and goddesses.
Yes.
We are definitely on our hero's journey. Remembering who we are, which is gods and goddesses. Right? Yeah.
But yeah, we are starseeds. We got a whole shirt that's a starseed. So, you know, don't take us seriously.
We're made of stardust.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. But this is the card that came out for the collective. And then we're going to get out of here. All right. Boom. And which card is this?
This is the 3 of Air. Right? This one deals with education, talent, willingness, guides, teachers, communication, planes.
It was just want to get in focus today.
Right? And it says it's time for us to expand our minds. Every experience teaches us a lesson. Okay? And understand that learning is a lifelong commitment. We're always going to learn. We're going to learn up until the day we get beamed back up. Okay? Learning helps us with comprehension. So the more you learn, the more that you're going to understand things, including your hero's journey. Okay? Just understand, even in the hero's journey, you're going to continue to repeat something until you get it. Yeah. It's just how it works. You're not going to go to grade 3 if you don't understand what's in the first grade, because there are prerequisites before you can even understand what's happening in the 3rd grade. Yeah. The life is the same way. All right. And also, learning transforms talent into skills. So, you know, don't just rest on your laurels. No. Put in some work and get really good at it. And it says here, don't kill the messenger. Don't kill the messenger. No.
And, you know, this is literally us right now.
Yeah.
Like, if you see us off camera, our face is in a book.
Studying, reading.
Because once again, just like we said before, like, you know, before we dove into all of this stuff, we'd be saying, yeah, we're star seeds. But through our studies and reading, like literally reading, like books.
Big books.
Old
ancient books.
It's taking us to a whole nother level to where we can really have a better understanding of our origins, understanding of the power that runs through us. And so we definitely recommend, like, this is for the collective. This is something that is definitely really needed. is getting back into reading, getting back into researching, and really going within to get information.
Right. So what you do is you read. Once you read, you go inward to get your comprehension.
Yes.
And this is how you slowly unlock those DNA codes.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep. All right, y'all. So that is pretty much it. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna head out of here. We thank y'all so much for tuning in with us. It has been such an honor. We appreciate y'all. Once again, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you haven't, give us that thumbs up. Give that thumbs up and let YouTube know that you like this information and you want more of it. All right?
Yes. And Catherine said that she spent her whole life reading books, and she thinks her guides wants her to experience life. Have you read the DNA of the Gods? Check that book out.
The Cosmos Doctrine.
Ah, check that out.
The Mystical Kabbalah.
I mean,
you got to get into some things, but
yeah,
never mind. But yeah, but we love y'all so much. Peace out.